How is everybody today? Excellent. Thank you all for inviting me. Normally in a year I get to talk a lot, and of course 2020 was a little different for us at the fire department. But today I'm going to talk to you about some of the things that we do at the fire department you may not be familiar with. A lot of them you may be, which is okay, but hopefully by the time that we're done you've learned a little bit more about the Kingsport Fire Department, and it's really your fire department and the things that we do to serve the citizens of the city of Kingsport. And so we do have a wonderful mission statement, and hopefully this thing is going to work for me. Let's try it again. There we go. Of course, our mission is the biggest part of it overall, I believe, is to protect the lives and property of the citizens and the visitors of the city of Kingsport. We get a lot of visitors here, people coming in for business, people coming in, well, not last year, but most years for Fun Fest and all kinds of other things. But hopefully we'll be back on that normal track here very, very soon. A lot of people, of course, know the Kingsport Fire Department for fire suppression. You know, big fire trucks rolling out. You know how long it's been since we've had a fire? It's been about 5 hours. We had one this morning. We are pretty fortunate. We are having less fires than we used to. Matter of fact, we actually, this past year, we completed another year without having a fire death inside the city of Kingsport. So that's a wonderful thing. We don't want those. We don't even want fire injuries. But we did finish 2020 without fire death. Also, when you think about the Kingsport Fire Department, it's the first responders. If you call 911 for any medical condition, you will get a fire truck there probably first before the ambulance arrives. And a lot of times when I'm in public and I've heard our other officers and our chief, they always get this question, well, why do you guys bring that big fire truck out here if it's somebody having a heart attack? Well, I will tell you a story about when our former chief was getting ready to answer that question, and somebody in line, they were at a receiving line, and a person interrupted him and said, I'll tell you why, because if it wasn't for them having the paramedics on the engine, I wouldn't be standing here talking to you. And so we're a full service fire department, advanced life support. We carry medications and everything on every engine, and we have paramedics on every engine also. The only thing we don't do is that we don't have a gurney to put you on to take you to the hospital. I mean, we could probably throw you in the back of the truck and take you if we really needed to, but we don't transport. We leave that up to Sullivan County EMS, and they do a great job. Car accidents, all types of medical emergencies, safety investigations, that's what you see a lot of times, and those make headlines. Matter of fact, I field the calls all the time from the different news groups, messages. There'll be mornings I'll hear my phone beeping and going off. It's news reporters texting me wanting to know what's going on because somebody reported that, oh, I saw fire trucks. We also do first response, hazardous materials, tactical and technical rescue, and then this shows up. Well, for us at the fire department, we actually have an infectious disease protocol. We've had it for a long time. So we were ready for this COVID-19 to show up because we'd already planned for it. We had some equipment for it, but we didn't expect the scope and the grandness of everything that was going on. And so once it hit us last year, we started looking for more and more supplies. And some of us worked from home. Some of us out of the fire marshal's office were able to go work from home. Most of what I did was training and finding things that we needed, masks, other different supplies and things like that. And I think that's what everybody was trying to do. Everybody had a business that was able to stay open, was trying to do the same thing that we were doing. Well, we finally got to the point that where we could mask everybody up, including Sparky, and that way we were a little bit safer. And currently, this is what our supply room looks like. And we've joked that now that 15, 20 years down the road, when a lot of our new guys retire, we'll give them a bag of gowns to take home with them, because we currently have like 25,000 gowns, which is great. You know, we hope that we never have to use all of those, but if we do go out on a medical call and somebody answers all of the COVID questions, or a part of the COVID questions from our central dispatch, they relay that to us. We have one of our paramedics gear up in all of the coverings, mask, shield, goggles, gloves. He looks like he's going to do surgery. Really, they do. They'll go in, evaluate a patient. If they need a little more help, they'll bring the others in. They'll be in that same situation, all geared up, ready to go, and then we'll take care of the patient as best that we can and get them on the way to the hospital. Now, for myself, I work in community risk reduction, and that's part of the fire marshal's office, code enforcement, public education, plans review, arson investigation training. Now, those of you who have businesses here in Kingsport, you're very familiar with our assistant fire marshals. They come out, they inspect your business, they look and see if everything is in a good fire safe mode, and if there's any discrepancies or anything like that, they'll work with you and let you get those changed. But with COVID, a lot of places were closed. So what did we do? Well, I kind of told you what I did. I looked for stuff. I got to be a professional medical equipment shopper online and making telephone calls. And it's funny, a lot of you in here are kind of in my situation. You know a lot of people, and that helps. That helps when I know a guy who can get stuff. Sound like I'm in a bomb or something, doesn't it? You know a guy who can get things. And so we were buying, we actually were getting soaps and sanitizers and cleaners and things, and I was going and picking them up, or one of our other guys in the office would go and pick them up, and they would deliver them out to every station. And one of the other things that our assistant fire marshals got to do, they got to do a lot of hands-on and go out, and if you saw them out working on fire hydrants all summer, and they did a lot of them. They did a whole lot of them. And so, we weren't just away from our normal activities, but we were working on a lot of other things to try to make sure that we could keep everybody just as safe as we normally do. So those are some really good things that we were able to do outside of the normal scope of our jobs. Now, for me, these are my normal days, and we're not back to normal days yet, but these are my normal days. Me and like 150 kindergartners, which is actually the most dangerous thing that you could ever encounter. Because these kids, when they see you, and then they see you again later, I've been hug-mugged so many times. I'm going through the store and it says, boom, there's a little kid holding on to me. But my wife jokes about this, and this is actually pretty dangerous in our day and age with the COVID thing. She used to joke with me, well, I can tell you've been around a lot of kids because I've got like nastiness all over my pants. Because they're all little short things. And when I go home, it's like, here, can you burn these? But, I go and I see lots of kids, and I really enjoy that. And we teach them about fire safety, what to do in their homes, and they go home and they tell their parents, hey, guess what I learned today? And so we've seen that bear fruit over the years. I've been fortunate. I've been with the department since 2006, and like we said, our fire death rates are going away. Our injury rates are going away. We've even had kids who we've had documented that have actually saved their families' lives. And it's because of the fire department going in and doing the things that we do previously or prior in prevention mode to go in and keep things from happening. Now, we do a lot of different events and things like that. Of course, with COVID, it didn't happen. But there's one thing that I have been doing that hasn't really changed, and that's child passenger safety seats. All right, who in here has any grandchildren or still have little children in your family? All right, who has a car seat in their car right now? All right, now I know yours is in right because I helped you with it. And Roger, I think yours is in right because I've helped your family. But more than likely, your car seat's not installed properly. And it's not any fault of your own. It's because instructions for car seats are terrible. I helped a family the other day, and they said, we can't quite figure this out. And I'm like, okay, I'm the child passenger safety tech. I'll go figure it out for you. Let me show you how to do this. So I go out, I look at their manual, I look at the seat, I look at the manual that came with it. I'm like, what the manual shows is physically impossible. It can't happen. Well, what they did in the drawing, they put the belts going through the seat, the actual lap shoulder belt, going through the seat in a way that's not possible to go through the holes and still go to be able to function. Somebody messed up. So I got online, got on their website, and I looked, and I found a video that was talking about it, and it was like, well, in my mind, it was supposed to go a different way. The video showed what I thought, thankfully, and we were able to get the seat put in properly. But that's why, of the nearly 4,000 seats that I've looked at in my 10 years so far, is that we are almost up to 70 that were in right the first time. And I had a great-grandmother come the other day, and we see a lot more parents or grandparents taking care of children nowadays. And so this was a great-grandmother, and she had her great-grandbaby, and she was very proud of this great-grandbaby. She pulled in and ran over to the door real quick. They hollered at me to come down. I went outside to look at her car seat. The base was in there because it was an infant carrier. The base was sitting in the seat. The seat was backward and sitting on top of it. And neither was secured by a seatbelt. And she looked at me and said, you know, I really don't know how to put this in. I'm like, yes, that is correct, ma'am, but I'm really glad you came today because I'm going to show you how to put it in right, and hopefully after this, your great-grandchild's will be a lot safer. And so that is one service that we offer that some people don't realize that we do. We've actually partnered with the Niswonger Children's Hospital, and for people who cannot afford a seat, we will provide a seat for them, and that's provided through the Children's Hospital. And I haven't done one of those since this morning either. But that's a great service, especially for our area and a lot of people that are in need. Now, this little girl that's in this picture here, there's a reason I put this picture in. I told you those car seats that you have were wrong. That's my daughter when she was little. She came to her and my son, my wife brought him down to visit me at the fire station. It wasn't long after I started, but I was certified as a car seat tech, like 2 weeks after that. So I go home, and this is a picture I took prior to me being certified. That seat's installed wrong. So after I got my certification, which actually is kind of strange, it was 36 hours of training, and we had a book, and I'm not joking, the book's this thick for your certification. So we had this class, it lasted a week, and then they test you hands-on, and then they give you a written test. And so after I passed on that last day, I came home and I parked my vehicle outside, and I went and got my wife's keys for her vehicle. I said, hey, I'm going out to the car to fix the car seats. And she's like, but I thought you put them in. Yeah, I did, but they're wrong. I gotta go fix them now. And so if you need a car seat check, let me know, and we'll help you get that checked out. Now, one of the other programs that we do that we take a lot of pride in is our smoke alarm installation program. We've partnered with the State Fire Marshal's Office. They've got a program called Get Alarm Tennessee. And currently, statewide, they've had about 400 documented saves from the smoke alarms, which is fantastic. We've been putting those in homes, and they're tracking those with infrared data and making sure that if there's a fire there, that they have a smoke alarm, and it's documented that they have a save. Now, the smoke alarms that we've been getting from them have a sealed 10-year battery. And if you didn't know, smoke alarms have a 10-year lifespan. But I do know that you know this, that the smoke alarms that you currently have that have the 9-volt, that batteries are not going to last but a couple of years or so, right? And it's going to beep at the most inconvenient time, probably while you're asleep, to let you know the battery's dying. But the new ones have a 10-year sealed battery in them, so when you put them up, they don't start working, they don't engage the power until it's twisted onto the bracket, and you can't turn them off, because they will keep power for the 10 years, and then they'll have a different beeping pattern that'll let you know that the battery's dying and need to be replaced. Also, our association, Firefighters Association here in Kingsport, they bought us some new smoke alarms to help supplement this program. And so right now we've got smoke alarms, and there is this much coming out of our budget for those. So that's pretty good. But we've got smoke alarms, and if I need more smoke alarms, I can contact the state of Tennessee in order to get more of those to us. Another thing that we've been doing is going in and teaching how to use a fire extinguisher. How many of you have ever had to use a fire extinguisher? Okay, that's about typical for a group. Most people do not know how to use a fire extinguisher. They know there's a pin, and if you pull the pin and throw it, it might do something, right? Okay, no, it's not a grenade. You actually have to pull the pin, aim the nozzle, squeeze and sweep back and forth. I'm not going to give you the entire class, but A lot of people who have never used one are learning how to do that. Now, the interesting thing is we've got a gentleman over at Dobbins-Bennett that has a group of young people there that he's actually been teaching woodland firefighting to, which is great. And there are some local schools in our area that actually have a firefighter curriculum for students who want to get into the fire service, which is great for us because we already have people that are trained a little bit and they know a little bit about the fire service and they make that their career. But he's been working with them, and he asked me if I would come over, and I've done this a couple of times with them. This is a student at Dobbins-Bennett, and we went over and did hands-on fire extinguisher training. We also do it at the Automotive Center downtown, where the students from Dobbins-Bennett go to. We'll get with those classes and show them how to use fire extinguishers. And this week and the last 3 weeks, I've been at the Sullivan County Sheriff's Department and doing a partnership with them and going out and training them at their training center on the proper use of fire extinguishers. So if you have a business, and I know that some of our businesses here in town, their insurance says, hey, you need to have your people trained to use fire extinguishers. And so they need that. I've done it at a couple of different places, a lot of the medical facilities here in town, and that's also something that's available that we can do to help you keep your business and your employees and your customers safe. Now, the thing about the Kingsport Fire Department is that, yeah, we get busy. If something happens and no one knows what to do, guess who they call? They call the Kingsport Fire Department for us to come and help mitigate whatever that situation is. And so we run into some interesting things sometimes. Our firefighters are very well trained. They are very good at keeping up with all their certifications. And at a moment's notice, if you need them, they're going to be there. And we appreciate everybody's love and support they've sent us through all this COVID stuff, and we just thank you thank you for letting us serve you in that capacity. But does anybody have any questions about some of the things that I covered, or if you have any fire department related questions, I will try to answer them. Yes.